Hi, Linda here. So every few months, I tend to go through like a planner anxiety phase. I think it's mostly like a natural rhythm of just getting caught up with everything there is to do and at some point getting to that overwhelm and feeling this way. So most often when that happens, it's because I've sort of neglected my planner. I find myself needing to revisit and sort of refresh everything every once in a while. For this month, I decided I just wanted to simplify as much as possible and just make it super easy to plan my tasks out every week so that I would actually do it. So the problem is when things get really busy, I sort of skip over parts because I'm just so busy. But that always makes it just a lot more difficult to get things done and to get things straight in my head because there's just too much going on. So I wanted to revisit my weekly layout and just make something that would be easy and fast. It's often faster for me to design something on the computer because I can play around and edit things really easily. And figure out what I need. So I ended up simplifying my planning into a single weekly layout, and that's sort of all that I can keep up with right now, and that's really all that I need, I think. It's not that, I have that many hours that I need to write so many long lists. I think it's better just to keep it minimal and be realistic and really practical with my planning. So I'm not someone who perhaps has like a million planner pages and like a monthly layout, a weekly layout, and a daily layout. I just find it to be very repetitive and I'll end up not doing it, so then the planning doesn't help me. So I created these really simple graphics, and it's a free printable if you want to use them as well. I will link everything down below. And I know what you might be thinking right now. If I want to minimalize and sort of make it easy, why am I playing around with printables, right? But I think that's sort of the heart of the issue of planning. We all know that we have to plan to get things done, but the important thing is to make it such a way that it actually makes us do it. Because if it was just writing lists and sort of like black and white, it's sort of boring to me, and I do want something that looks nice because that will make me want to use my planner. I know that there are people who are super practical planning, and they write lists and everything, and they don't do anything decorative at all. And then there's the people in the bullet journaling world that really enjoy the creative part and create pretty elaborate layouts because that's sort of part of their planning process. The creativity really keeps them going. I find myself somewhere in the middle. I do want to be practical. I do want it to be simple and straightforward, especially when things get busy and I don't have a lot of time. But I still want something that looks nice. The aesthetics, they do matter to me. I don't really like my handwriting, and I can't really draw straight lines or really just be super neat when it comes to like using a ruler and all that kind of stuff. So that's why bullet journaling wasn't like necessarily my thing. I would find myself being so caught up with trying to get everything like right. It just sort of caused more issues. So that's why printables or like ready-made items are really helpful for me. I don't want to be locked into a year-long pre-printed planner, but with printables I can sort of create a layout and use it for a while before like changing things up and moving on to the next thing. So I get that sort of in the middle best of both worlds kind of thing. And I really like collaging things together. I find that it is sort of meditative to cut and glue. So it's sort of creative, but it doesn't require a lot of thinking power or energy at the same time. So it's just a nice middle ground for me. And I use my planning only for work tasks and nothing else, not like appointments or like household duties or anything like that. I have a digital calendaring system for different types of things in life. So really these are just about major tasks that I need to get done, and it shouldn't be a very long list. So for my weekly layout, I have a monthly calendar view, and As you can see in my printable in the upper left-hand corner, it's a calendar printout, but it's a perpetual monthly calendar printout, meaning whatever month you want, you just cut out the appropriate numbers. I think it's like the coolest thing in the world, and I have posted it on my blog before. It's really useful because you just sort of decide what month you want to use, and then whether you want a Monday start or a Sunday start, you just cut off the block with the right set of numbers. It will always work out. So it's just really cool to have this sort of perpetual calendar that you can print out and use wherever you might want to include it, without having to like draw all the boxes or, you know, write out all the numbers. I just like to have it all done. So in my weekly spread, I want to see the monthly calendar, then I have my top priorities, and then a list to write down things that maybe are for the future. And then on one side, I'm just going to have the entire week and have little spaces for my tasks, and really want to keep it concise and practical rather than writing a huge list that I can't get done. And for the weekend, I'm including them here, but I'm just gonna put one block for the weekend because I'm trying to just not schedule anything for the weekend. It's just not fair to my family. I have little kids to take care of, and the weekend should really be time for rest and connection. And I just wanna make it a point in my weekly spreads that obviously the weekends are days that exist, but I don't want them to be actual tasks scheduled on them necessarily. Like, it really is that buffer room, and I need to sort of get used to that. So when I created this printable, I actually had an idea of what I wanted, but of course once I cut it apart, I sort of arranged it a little bit differently. For example, for the days, I was actually too lazy to cut out the flag like banner shape, so I just cut them into rectangles. And so I guess it just depends on how much effort you want to put into it for that particular week. So I know it just seems so weird that I have this, I'm sort of battling with myself when it comes with wanting something that looks nice, wanting to get creative and create something cool, but at the same time being sort of lazy with details and not wanting to do the same thing over and over again because it gets boring and, you know, just seems repetitive and a waste of time. It's definitely a struggle. I don't know if anyone else has this sort of struggle when it comes to planning. Let me know in the comments if you have any insight on this, because I definitely want things to look nice and I enjoy getting creative, but there's just a limit, and obviously some weeks are more limited than others, just depending on the time that I have. And of course, when it comes to planning, it ultimately is about the practicality and getting things done, so it has to work for you, otherwise there really is no point. So this week, I just wanted to use this printable just to get something really simple down, but still looking nice, and really trying to find that balance for myself. I think that having things looking nice and sort of cute, and maybe spending a few minutes doing something a little creative, gives me that motivation to actually plan rather than just writing a list, which I usually tend to not do, even though it seems so simple, because I don't know, it's just not something that I want to go look at, I guess, and that's why. So I need that balance of something nice to look at and something helpful. So I just wanted to show you this new setup that I have for my weekly spread, and let me know if you have any tips or tricks when it comes to planning and setting up your weekly spreads. I had some extra printables, so that's why I created that extra spread. But basically, I thought maybe before I move to the next week, I can write some gratitude and other notes and have that sort of free area before doing the next spread. But for just each week, I think it will be that weekly spread. And by the way, I'm using this sort of old journal that I made that I started just sort of doodling in and then never finished, so just using that. And so here's my weekly spread. And obviously it's Easter vacation, but I hope to be on top of things once we get into the new week. So this is my very easy planner setup. And I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes for me, and let me know in the comments below if you have any tips or tricks. And if you want to see more of my videos and also get more of the free printables I create, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I release videos at least once a week, sort of sharing do-it-yourself and printables and art journaling and paper crafting, all that kind of good stuff. So thanks so much, and until next time.